video we will discuss formation of ions. Let's start the session. First of all, we will study cation formation. We know what are cations. Cations are positive charged particles which are formed by the loss of one or more electrons in a chemical reaction. Here we see the first question which is given. Describe the formation of sodium and magnesium cations. Sodium with plus charge is known as sodium cation. Magnesium is plus 2 charge is known as magnesium cation. First of all, we will see the formation of sodium ion. How sodium ion is formed. We know sodium, it is a member of group first A of the periodic table. The members of group first A, they are known as alkali metals. Atomic number of sodium is 11. So we will write the electronic configuration of sodium and then we will see how sodium cation is formed. Sodium atomic number 11. Sodium, its atomic number is 11. If we write its electronic configuration, it would be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. We know if there are less than 3 electrons in the valence shell, then usually an element lose electron in a chemical reaction. We know S is the subshell of K shell, 2s and 2p, these are the subshell of L shell, and 3s is the subshell of M shell. So in the M shell there is just one electron. If there are 3 electrons, 3 or less electrons present in the valence shell, then usually an element lose electron in a chemical reaction. Since sodium has just one electron in its valence shell, so sodium will lose its one electron in a chemical reaction. Sodium lose this electron, one electron which is present in its valence shell. It will lose this electron. After the loss of this electron, the electronic configuration of sodium would be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. That is, in the K shell it has 2 electrons and in the L shell it has 8 electrons. Now it has 8 electrons in its valence shell. Now its electronic configuration get matched with the noble gases like neon or argon, etc. It means it has complete octet in its valence shell. That's why it becomes stable. So in this way, sodium is converted into sodium cation after the loss of one electron. We can write as sodium changes to sodium ion after the loss of one electron. Sodium will attain plus 1 charge since it loses one electron in a chemical reaction. We can also represent this with the help of electron dot structure. Let's see how can we represent with the help of electron dot structure. Now we will see how formation of sodium ion takes place. We know sodium has 2 electrons in its first shell, that is K shell. So we write 2 electrons here. 2 electrons are present in K shell. In the L shell there are 8 electrons. 1, 2, we write 8 electrons in L shell. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And M is the valence shell of sodium. In the M shell it has 1 electron. So this is the electron which is present in the M shell. This is the electronic structure for sodium atom. Now in a chemical reaction, sodium changes to sodium ion after the loss of one electron. So this is the electron which is present in the valence shell of sodium. When sodium loses this electron in a chemical reaction, then the valence shell, which is the M shell, this shell is finished and sodium just has 2 shells, that is K shell and L shell. Now we write the electronic configuration of sodium by showing the electrons which are present in the different shells. In the K shell, sodium has 2 electrons, K shell 2 electrons, and in the L shell there would be 8 electrons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After the loss of this electron, when this electron is lost by sodium, its valence shell will be L shell. So this is the electronic configuration for sodium atom, and this is the electronic configuration for sodium ion. Usually sodium atom changes to sodium ion after the loss of one electron. So here we will write, this is sodium atom and this is sodium ion. Since it lose one electron in the chemical reaction, so it will attain +1 charge. And here this is the electronic, this is sodium ion and this is sodium atom. I hope formation of sodium ion is clear to you. Now we will discuss the formation of magnesium ion. We know magnesium is the member of group 2nd of the periodic table, that is alkaline earth metals. Atomic number of magnesium is 12. Now we will write the electronic configuration of magnesium and we will see how magnesium atom is changes to di-positive ion of magnesium. So we will write the electronic configuration for magnesium. Magnesium, atomic number 12, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2. We know 1s is the subshell of K shell, 2s and 2p, these are the subshell of L shell, and 3s is the subshell of M shell. M is the valence shell. There are 2 electrons in the valence shell. We know if an element has less than 3 electrons in the valence shell, then usually it loses electron in a chemical reaction. So we will see how magnesium atom changes to di-positive ion of magnesium. So magnesium, it will lose 2 electrons in a chemical reaction. In the chemical reaction, it will lose 2 electrons. Why it lose 2 electrons? Because it want to get stable just like noble gases. In order to get the stability, it must have complete octet in its valence shell. So that's why it will lose 2 electrons. After the loss of 2 electrons, its configuration would be 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. We can notice here in the K shell we have 2 electrons, and now L is the valence shell. In the valence shell we have 8 electrons. Now its octet is completed. Now its electronic configuration get matched with the noble gases, that is neon or argon. It means it becomes stable. Simply we can write as magnesium after the loss of 2 electrons changes to di-positive ion of magnesium after the loss of 2 electrons. We can also represent this by the help of electron dot structure. Now we'll see how can we represent this with the help of electron dot structure. We will write the electron dot in the different shells for magnesium. We know in the first shell, that is in the K shell, there are 2 electrons. So we write here 2 electrons. We write 2 electrons in the first shell. There are 2 electrons. L is the second shell. There are 8 electrons in the L shell. So we write 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the valence shell of magnesium atom there are 2 electrons. So we write 2 electrons here. There are 2 electrons in the valence shell. Now magnesium atom changes to magnesium ion after the loss of 2 electrons. Magnesium atom changes to magnesium ion after the loss of 2 electrons. So we will see how what is the electronic configuration for magnesium ion. Magnesium ion has 2 electrons in the K shell. Here we write 2 electrons and 8 electrons in the L shell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, when magnesium changes to magnesium ion, it will lose the 2 electrons here. It will lose the 2 electrons which are present in the valence shell. So after the loss of these 2 electrons, M shell will be terminated. Now only the 2 shells will be left, that is K shell and L shell. So after the loss of 2 electrons, its octet is completed. Its octet is completed in the K shell. Now it becomes stable after the loss of 2 electrons. So this is the formation of magnesium ion. I hope formation of magnesium ion is clear to you. This is magnesium atom. This is magnesium atom and this is magnesium ion. I hope this is clear.